Hey, what's up guys? BSG TrekFan88 here for a quick vlog once again. As you can probably tell, I'm not using my mic. I'm not lit up properly. This is just a quick thoughts video. It's been 1 week since I have purchased and or owned and or driven my 1995 Jeep YJ Wrangler. And this is going to be about my thoughts on it. But for you, just so you are aware, I am coming from owning, well, not owning really, leasing. I know, calm down, stop hitting the computer monitor. Leases are not good. It got me out of a loan, and in the end I technically did better than I could have. But anyway, I'm coming from a 2010 Corolla LE, which has, I think it had like 120, 130 horsepower. It's a four-speed automatic. Power windows, power locks. I could go 400, actually, my last 2 trips after an oil change, over 400 miles on a full topped-off tank of gas, which is fairly impressive these days. ABS, traction control, vehicle stability control. You know, I had my sound system installed, but that's aftermarket. That's shit that I did. Very safe vehicle. The Corolla didn't give me any issues during the 3 years and 40,000 and change miles that I put on it. Would I recommend it? Yes. I'm just not a car fan. So now I have purchased with 130, it had 132 and change thousand miles on it. As I said before, a 95 Wrangler. It has 185 brake horsepower. It has, 224 foot-pounds of torque. It is a 4.0 liter. I can go 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds, which I was actually very impressed with, given the tires that I have on it and the age of the vehicle. I'm not going to do many, 0 to 60s, but I did want to see for myself what it was capable of. And that's on the oil change that happened about 3,000 miles ago, so it probably would be better. After having it for a week, it's really different than owning a car, obviously. I mean, I sit 3 times, almost 4 times as high off the, well, not 4 times, excuse me, about 3 times as high, excuse me, off the ground. It's completely different, and it's a lot different than what you can own. Going from a car to anything bigger is a big change, but when you drive a Wrangler, and I've driven quite a few different vehicles, Ford Focuses, the Corolla, a Chevy Blazer, a Ford Explorer, a Lincoln Continental, which is my first car. I've driven another friend's Wrangler. The Wranglers are really different, especially my generation, the YJs, which actually ended in 95. And actually, there technically is no 96. It goes to 97. But anyway, in 97 and beyond, that's when the Wrangler really started to become more tame when it comes to what it has to offer as a vehicle. The 95s, 94s, 93s, 91s, and I think 90s, the YJs, if you Wikipedia it or Google it, the YJs are really what I would consider a stripped down Jeep. It was available back in 95 for the 2nd year in a row, but ABS brakes I don't have. Traction control, vehicles, I don't have any of that. I don't even have any airbags. I have a seatbelt, and I have my driving skill, which, contrary to some people's popular belief, I'm actually a very decent driver when I have to be, which is 90% of the time, when I'm not showing off a new car or anything like that. I don't have power windows, I don't have power locks. It's a stripped down thing. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it's May 11th right now. The past few days we've had a lot of rain. It doesn't leak, the top doesn't leak, but the person who owned it before me took it to the beach quite a bit, so it has a little bit of rust on different spots, especially the floorboard where your feet go. So they've actually ripped out the floor, not the whole thing, like a square foot or so, and replaced it with I forget what he called it, but it's actually pretty strong. You can punch it and kick it and it won't do anything. But that needs to be taped a little bit and repaired. It's a workhorse. It's actually why I really lucked out with this truck. With this, it's not a truck, it's a Jeep. The 95s, 94s, again, the YJs were the last real down-to-earth Jeep breeds before they became modernized. You know, after 95, for the most part, every Jeep came with you know, ABS. Every Jeep came with the new design interior to make it feel and seem more comfortable to drive. You know, driving this Jeep around is not the same as an SUV or a car. You know, you really have to be alert. You really have to be on the ball. And I'm not saying it's hard to drive. I mean, anything under 55 is easy. You know, it's it's an adventure. I mean, it's really hard for me to explain. But this video is kind of just my take on it. You know, saying that I own something like this is actually pretty cool. But, you know, the torque is there, the horsepower is there. The gas mileage, the first time I've only filled it up once in the past, almost, actually 2 weeks that I've owned it. Sorry, not 1 week, 2 weeks. And of course, when I first filled it up was the day that I bought it. So I had fun with it. I gunned it quite a bit. This time I filled it up today, and I'm gonna be driving quote unquote normal. And we'll see how far I can go. But from what I gather, from what I've read, and from what I've experienced with the gas mileage that I've filled up, but I've had to put gas in it since then, I can probably go anywhere between 180 and 220 miles on a tank of gas, which is half of what I'm used to. And it's a 6-cylinder, not a V8. So, you know, it's not a fuel-efficient truck by any means, Jeep. But it's so much fun to drive. I mean, part of it's coming off of owning a car, but for so long. You know, going from a car to something that I know has 4-wheel drive, has 33-inch BF Goodrich tires on it, you know, it's just so much more fun. And yeah, I don't have power windows or power brakes or all the cool safety features or the gas mileage or, to be honest, a quiet ride. I mean, even in my Chevy Blazer, when you're on the highway, it's a fairly quiet ride. This thing, even with a hardtop on it, granted there's I have to replace the weather stripping on the doors because it whistles. Even when it doesn't whistle, it's not a quiet road noise. You know, it's up there. I think on my phone I used a noise level or a noise decibel indicator, and it was like at 70 or 80, 75, 80 decibels, which is the equivalent of I think it said like a machinery warehouse or something like that, where they build things like a car place, whatever. Am I happy with this purchase? I guess is what this video comes down to. You know, I had a lot of options, and technically I don't owe my parents anything because the damage that my mother caused, those of you that know me know what I'm talking about, but my mother backed into my ar about a year ago and scraped the side of it and dented in the door and a couple other spots, and she has had a year and hasn't fixed it, but in the end, because she waited so long, insurance, the money that we would have gotten is crap, so she's literally going to wait to see what Toyota bills me for. But anyway, I technically own this truck. God, this Jeep, flat out. I don't owe my parents anything because she owes me for the damages done. So this is my Jeep. This is my mode of transportation. Sure, I've already had to put a couple $100 of work into it. I spent $2 grand on it. I'm very happy with this purchase. I'm hoping that this Jeep lasts me at least 2 years. I really don't want to be looking for a vehicle in a year. I know that the transmission and the engine and all the main parts of a motor vehicle will last me at least 2 or longer years. I'm worried about the little things like the suspension, alignment. Believe it or not, I'm gonna count this as a little thing. The frame. I'm gonna do a video on what I've had to repair. There was a small, slight crack on the front left of the frame, right behind the tire, which even the guy repairing it said, you know, frames can be patched. They're not a big deal. This crack isn't that big. It's not like it broke. It's just a small hairline crack. But the person that owned it before me did take it to the beach a lot, you can tell, and I'm a little worried about that. It cost me $2,000 for a 95 Jeep Wrangler with 132K on it. That's awesome. You know, even if I have to put $1,000 or even up to $2,000, which it won't, but we'll call it $1,000 into this Jeep, that's still a steal. You know, I go to work and home. You know, on the occasion I'll go to Braintree and take the T into Boston. You know, maybe I'll do a road trip down to New Jersey. Everybody's pitching in gas for that. Billy, Richard. But, you know, for what I wanted out of a vehicle, I think I really did luck out. In the end, for $2,000 and what it's going to cost to, you know, make sure this thing is going to run for at least 2 years, I think I really did get a good deal. It's 4-wheel drive. It has some power to it. It has character. One of the things that I really wanted out of a vehicle, you know, I had the option of going, you know, spending $3,000 and getting another Blazer, and a newer Blazer 2001, and you think I'm stupid going from a 2001 Blazer, which needed a tiny bit of work, the same amount as the Jeep, to a 95 Jeep. But me personally, like I've said in other videos, I'm a big fan of what you drive reflects who you are. And I think that this Jeep has personality. I think that it has charisma, and I don't know, call me crazy, but I just like it, you know. I can go anywhere for the most part. I'm not gonna get stuck unless it's really bad. It's different, you know. Jeep Wranglers are known worldwide as being, maybe not so much today, but back in the day, you know, commendable, reliable, and different, and they have personality, which is what I like about it. Sure, it's a very bumpy ride, and again, I don't have the amenities that I'm used to, but hey, I spent $2,000 on it and change now that I've had to put some money into it. But it's mine. I own it, and I'm going to take care of it. And like I said before, 2 years. If this thing dies 2 years exactly on the day, I would say, you know what? I got my money's worth. There are some concerns, like, I'll just tell you right now. What I had repaired, this video is going on a lot longer. What I had repaired was, like I said before, the little crack on the frame, which I'll show you guys in the video. I'm going to be showing you guys everything about this Jeep. You know, every time I get a new part, a new toy, something repaired, oil changed, I'm going to try something new when it comes to YouTube and really show you guys my 95 Jeep Wrangler YJ. But I had the little crack repaired, or safeguarded. The front differential, which those of you don't know, when you drive a vehicle, when you take a turn, the outside wheel actually spins. I believe it. I think it spins more than the inside wheel. If you didn't have a differential, if it was a solid axle, cornering would be kind of tricky. Anyway, it's the big ball, if you will, in between the two tires. And those of you that know cars at all, you know what I'm talking about. Those that don't, go look at your car or truck. That's the big ball. There's a gear in there, a planetary or not planetary, a gear that lets one wheel spin free while the other one doesn't, or one wheel spin more than the other one. The seal that is in there between the plate and the inside, which basically keeps the liquid, the inside, was tired. I think the guy said it was the original factory seal, which he's surprised it lasted, you know, 130K in almost 20 years. That was replaced today. That was leaking. It still had liquid in there. It still had fluid, but it was dangerously low. So I was gonna have him replace the transmission fluid, transfer case fluid, and do an oil change and put my muffler on, because he said he'd do it for free just while he has the truck. It takes like 20 minutes. You cut and you weld, you're done. But upon further looking at that crack, he felt that it was safer for the crack to be repaired and or bracketed, and to do the leak, which the leak I understood. The crack, it sucks because I really wanted the transmission fluid replaced because I know it's tired, but that can always be done next week. It's not like it's a life or death thing. You don't want to fuck with the frame of your truck or car, so I understood. It's going to cost me a couple $100, but it's done, it's over, it's repaired. So anyway, end all point of this video. I've had the Jeep now for, call it 2 weeks. It's different, it's fun. I am going to have to put some money into it, but for what I spent on it, for what I travel to work and home, to Boston occasionally, for the climate that I live in. You know, I live in Plymouth, Mass. I travel to the Cape. This past winter sucked. for those of you that like snow. But in general, you know, heavy rain, snow, New England weather, it's nice to know that I have something that will get me from point A to point B in a pinch, in an emergency situation. Yes, I spend more on gas, but hey, it's better than paying for a lease. Anyway, this is BSG TruckFan88 signing off. Next video you'll see should be once the repairs and or maintenance, upkeep, or whatever you want to call it, is complete on my Jeep for now. I intend to put but a new sound system into it. Yeah, I could put that money towards other things, but you know, when you drive 30 minutes each way, so about an hour each day, and you're coming off of having a car that has a sub and a really nice sound system, yeah, it sucks. I'm putting in new speakers and a new deck, which actually doesn't cost that much at all, and I already have the speakers, and I just had to buy the radio, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, see ya.